Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and honestly, completely demystify the overwhelming alphabet soup of laptop specs. I mean, we've all been there, right? Staring blankly at a price tag in a tech store, wondering what on earth a Core Ultra actually does? Well, today we're going to act as your ultimate decoder ring. We'll translate all that complex, super dense hardware jargon into clear, everyday concepts. The goal here is simple: to make sure you never overpay for a machine you really don't need, or worse, underbuy on a machine that's just going to slow you down. So here's our quick roadmap for today. We're going to start by decoding the basic hardware jargon, then explain processors and graphics. After that, we'll find your exact usage tier, show you how to avoid those really costly buyer mistakes, and finally build out your ultimate decision tree.
All right, Section 1, Decoding the Hardware Jargon. We're translating all that geek speak into plain English. Now, what is the real difference between memory and storage? I know it sounds pretty basic, but confusing these two is absolutely the quickest way to end up buying the wrong machine. Manufacturers, well, they kind of love throwing around gigabytes and terabytes interchangeably, and it completely confuses buyers. But trust me, they serve entirely different purposes.
Think about it like this. RAM, random access memory. That is your active short-term workspace. It is incredibly fast, but it completely clears out the moment you power down your machine. Your SSD, or solid-state drive, on the other hand, is your long-term vault. That's where your operating system, your apps, and your files live permanently, even when the power is completely shut off.
Actually, mapping these core 4 components to a kitchen makes it so much easier to understand. The CPU, that's your chef, the brain executing all the tasks. RAM is your countertop space, literally giving you room to work on multiple things at once. Storage is your pantry, where all the ingredients are kept until you need them. And the GPU, that's a specialist sous chef who only handles the heavy visual tasks. Think about it. If a lightning-fast chef only has a tiny RAM countertop to chop vegetables on, they're going to bottleneck. They have to constantly run back and forth to the storage pantry. Everything just has to be in perfect balance.
Moving right along to Section 2, Processors and Graphics Explained. Basically, the brains and the brawn of your machine.
Listen, you do not need to memorize every single microchip on the market. Nobody has time for that. Just align the processor family with the performance tier you actually need. An Intel Core i5 or an AMD Ryzen 5 puts you right in the mid-range, which, honestly, is the unsung hero, perfect for about 80% of users. Stepping up to an i7, a Core Ultra, or a Ryzen 7 gets you into high-end territory. Don't let the marketing numbers overwhelm you. Just match that 3, 5, 7, or 9 label to what you actually do every day.
Now, you're definitely going to start seeing the letters NPU popping up alongside CPUs and GPUs. This is a neural processing unit, a dedicated chip solely for AI tasks. So instead of your battery draining super fast while your CPU struggles to, say, blur your background on a Zoom call or run local text generation, the NPU swoops in and handles it locally, efficiently, and totally bypasses the need to send data to the cloud. It's a real game changer.
Okay, we need to bust a massive myth right now. The idea that everyone needs a dedicated GPU. Unless you are hardcore gaming, rendering 4K video, or doing heavy 3D design, integrated graphics are exactly what you want. They handle everyday office work beautifully, and they save your battery and your wallet. Dedicated graphics are separate, power-hungry chips, essential for creators, sure, but total overkill if you don't want your laptop fan sounding like a jet engine taking off just to answer a few emails.
All right, let's hit Section 3, Finding Your Usage Tier. We're matching the machine to your mission.
So if you're a student, an office worker, a heavy PDF reader, or even a web developer working in Python or VS Code, Tiers 1 and 2 are your sweet spot. You need a solid processor and just enough RAM to keep all those browser tabs open, roughly 8 to 16 gigabytes. And you can absolutely, 100% skip the expensive graphics cards. What you really want here is a lightweight machine with killer battery life. Now, for the creatives out there, editing in Premiere Pro, graphic designers living in Photoshop, or gamers playing high-end AAA titles, notice how the hardware shifts. The countertop space, your RAM, needs to jump up to 16 or 32 gigabytes. Your chef upgrades to a Core i7 or Ryzen 7. And crucially, that dedicated GPU we talked about, it becomes absolutely mandatory. Without that specialist sous chef rendering the graphics, your software is just going to stutter and crash. Then we have the absolute highest tiers. If you're doing heavy engineering, 3D architecture, or running complex local AI models, we're talking about true pro workstations. These machines need massive amounts of RAM, jumping all the way up to 64, sometimes 128 gigabytes. You're going to need incredibly powerful multi-core processors, like a Core i9, and top-tier GPUs to handle all that heavy computational math. Honestly, these aren't really just laptops anymore. They're basically portable supercomputers.
Okay, Section 4, avoiding costly buyer mistakes. Let's make sure you don't fall for those sneaky spec sheet traps.
These 3 traps literally catch everyone. Trap number 1, buying an outdated tech generation just for the brand name. Guys, a brand new Core i5 will run absolute circles around a Core i7 from 5 years ago. Always check the generation. Trap 2, ignoring the display and accepting a terrible, washed-out screen just to afford a faster processor. And trap 3, overbuying RAM. Paying a massive premium for 64 gigabytes when you only do basic office work gives you 0 extra performance. It's just throwing money away.
I really want you to remember this concept. More RAM doesn't automatically mean a faster laptop if your CPU is the bottleneck. Upgrading your kitchen's countertop space won't help one bit if your chef is still moving in slow motion, right? System performance requires a balanced approach. If you pair a weak entry-level CPU with 32 gigabytes of RAM, well, don't expect magic. The components absolutely have to match each other's capabilities.
And speaking of components matching, if you're in the creator or gaming tiers, a bad screen is a complete deal breaker. OLED technology is quickly becoming the absolute gold standard here. Because each pixel lights up individually, you get these true inky blacks and stunning color accuracy. Now, it might sip just a tiny bit more battery, sure, but whether you're color grading a video in DaVinci Resolve or exploring a dark atmospheric video game, it radically changes the entire experience.
All right, Section 5, your ultimate decision tree. This is a foolproof framework for buying your next machine.
Before you pull the trigger and make your final choice, you really have to consider emerging technologies so your laptop doesn't become obsolete the moment you unbox it. Keep an eye out for ARM processors, which, by the way, are completely changing the game for battery life. Also, look for the latest networking standards like Wi-Fi 7 and hyper-fast PCIe Gen 5 SSD storage. Factoring these in helps guarantee your machine is actually built for tomorrow, not just today.
So by following these 3 simple steps, you can completely bypass the marketing hype. First, define your primary use. Be honest with yourself. Don't buy a gaming rig if you literally only plan to read PDFs. Second, match your CPU and RAM combination based strictly on your usage tier. And once those specs are locked in, step 3 is simply deciding your budget and brand. How much luxury do you want? Are you perfectly fine with a budget plastic chassis? Do you want a durable mid-range build? Or are you craving that premium flagship aluminum body?
As we wrap up this explainer, I'll leave you with this thought to chew on. Are you buying hardware just to barely scrape by with the tasks you're doing today? Or are you investing in the creator, student, or professional you want to be tomorrow? Match your machine to your mission, balance out that kitchen workspace, and step into the tech aisle with absolute confidence. Until next time, happy hunting!